Hey y'all, welcome to Gadfly, the podcast about third-party politics, French candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history.
Yay!
I'm Dusty Wilson,
I'm Una O'Leary.
and man, things are weird.
Yeah, it's so good to see you, Dusty.
It's good to
on
see you
my
too.
computer.
I know, this is, oh my god, it's like we literally live maybe about 5 train stops away, and that is
At
about
most.
4 train stops too dangerous.
Oh, I'd say 5 train stops too dangerous. If it were 1, I could walk that.
So for the foreseeable future, our stellar sound quality is going to take a bit of a dip.
Or, I mean, an elevation. I feel now we're both mic'd up.
This is true.
In a way.
This is very true. This is going to be really embarrassing if actually this is the better sound quality. Just have to do this from each other's homes for the rest of time.
Womp womp.
So yeah, have you been doing anything weird to kind of keep your sanity going or anything really unique?
So I live across from beautiful and privately owned cemetery in Chicago, which has been great because the fact that it's privately owned means it has not been closed. So my husband and I have been taking walks, and it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, thank God, like we're getting out, we're getting some fresh air, and it's just surrounded by dead people. Yeah, and staring out the window means like watching runners run along the paths of the dead people. Honestly, like the biggest thing for me is I leave the house, and then I am one of those people where like if you are the kind of couple or person who walks two abreast on a sidewalk and then does not like move into military passion, like one behind the other as another person is approaching, I already hate you. Like I hated you well before the unprecedented pandemic. Now I see it as a terrorist act, and I will throw elbows. Like I will get up, I will not move. And then I get home and it's like, why am I just like so jacked on adrenaline? And so because there's just terrorism constantly, because now like no one is taking any precautions.
Yeah.
And I still have to deal with runners who are keeping up conversations as they like jog next to me with their sweat flying everywhere. And it's like, if you can have a conversation, then you're not doing it right. Run faster, run harder, stop it. So that's where I'm at. How about you, Dusty? What are you doing to keep sane?
Oh, Lord. So fun fact about me, I find spreadsheets to be one of the most relaxing things in the world.
You and my husband, yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just it's just so calming to me. And so to make sure I'm not just wasting my time and just making random spreadsheets, I've gone onto one of my favorite websites, ourcampaigns.com. And what they have is, I think it's like about 8 political nerds have compiled every election result throughout American history into a website that looks like it hasn't been updated since Netscape died.
Amazing.
And it's astounding. I honestly love it so much because the depth of information there is so solid. So what I'm doing is I'm going through every congressional, Senate, governor, and maybe I might go deeper if this thing goes into the summer, and just compiling every single third-party result in America back to 1870.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's niche.
I mean, it's going to save me a lot of time on research. It actually helped out a lot for today.
Ooh.
And the main reason I was doing it was because the party we're talking about today made some claims that sounded bullshit. And the only way I could prove it was bullshit is if I did this work.
This is so amazing.
It's about the nerdiest, dumbest thing I've done, but it's been really satisfying doing this while listening to the other side thing is listening to people rage quitting while playing Madden on YouTube. I don't know why. Well, I mean, there's this one where it's literally just this dude who pays a fuck ton of money to get the best players for his team, and he always loses. And he always quits before the game actually finishes. And it's the only time that I've ever seen in video form a wealthy person failing. It's like your money cannot buy you talent, and it warms me. It makes me so happy.
Yeah. Truly escaping into fantasy is watching
Look,
rich people fail.
you take what you can get in these
Oh,
times.
100%. 100%. Yeah, what gets me out of bed Monday mornings is I have become more, not social media savvy, but more social media addicted and responsive, in that like now it's like, okay, every Monday I'm going to post like hopefully increasingly ridiculous bifurcated outfit, because Mondays are the day when my office does like a blitz of meetings. So I'm on go to all day and it's exhausting. So it's just like, all right, up top is like pearls, earrings, makeup, and down below is let's see what trash I can pull out of the back of the closet. What have we got today?
I mean, I have been discovering a lot of clothes that I did not remember I owned.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get started, I guess.
Yes. What have you got for me?
So this is a bit of a fun story, because this is the party that actually got me into third-party politics to begin with.
Oh, it's the origin story, third party.
So back in 11th grade, I took a speech class, as was required in the high school that I went to. And I had randomly come upon a website that I still follow to this day called politics1.com. And it was the only website that I had found that actually had an in-depth listing of all of the third-party presidential nominees. And so I did a speech on every third party that was running.
Whoa.
And the one third party that I liked the most is the one that we're talking about today. And in retrospect, I wish I hadn't.
Amazing. Let's see how far you've grown.
But today we are talking about the Natural Law Party.
What? As opposed to
unnatural law. You know, like magic law.
Cats marrying dogs.
Yeah. Robots being lawyers. It's all right. So the Natural Law Party formed back in the early 90s, but to get a real grasp on the history of these folks, you have to go back to 1918, and we have to go to Jabalpur, India. Mahesh Prasad Varma was born then and there, and within the Kayastha caste. There's going to be probably a few mispronunciations. I apologize ahead of time. I'm going to do my absolute best. So the Kayastha caste are an amalgamation of other subgroups that were most often destined to become scribes and bureaucrats within the very strict Indian caste system. So Mahesh would graduate with a degree in physics from Allahabad University at the age of 24. However, the year prior to graduation, he would enter into his life's calling. In 1941, he attained a job as a personal secretary to Swami Brahmananda Saraswati, or more honorifically known, Guru Dev. It's at this time Mahesh would change his name for the first time and become known as Bal Brahmachari Mahesh, a name showing his dedication to learning from Guru Dev. Mahesh would state that this was when his life truly began. Over time, Mahesh would become Guru Dev's personal secretary and favored pupil. He would study right up until Guru Dev's death in 1953, followed by 2 years of solitude. You know how you grieve. We all do it differently. You know, some of us just go into complete solitude for 2 years.
Would that I could.
I know. Sorry, I can't come into work. Aunt died.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, if Bernie guaranteed us 2 years solitude pay, I would take him up on that.
Man. That would be great.
So after leaving his self-imposed hermit life, Mahesh began a tour of India teaching what he would come to call transcendental meditation. He would also change his name to one that he would become most known for, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
So is he the Beatles transcendental
teacher?
Maybe.
Maybe
Okay.
Now, the idea behind transcendental meditation, or TM as I'm going to call it mostly from here on out, is that twice a day for 20 minutes, a person goes into a state of deep meditation while chanting their own personal mantra. The most common archetype of this is someone sitting cross-legged and saying Om over and over. But as all things that have been boiled down in the media, that's not 100% the reality. The mantra a person uses is often given to them by their teacher, and it differs from person to person. And it's highly recommended to be kept secret and never spoken aloud. So the person can also assume any special yoga position that works for them. So it's really kind of adapted towards the person and towards your own comfort. In 1959, Mahesh began his first world tour to teach transcendental meditation. He started in Southeast Asia before making his way through America and then Britain. During this tour, he would begin his first flirtation with the celebrity class, gaining pupils and actors Ephraim Zimbalist and Doris Duke. As a star began to rise, he opened TM training centers in San Francisco and London. In 1960, he gave his first ever television interview, followed up by a full-on BBC appearance in 1961. He would train 60 people that year in how to teach TM to others, expanding his movement to multiple countries in the process. In 1963, he would address ministers of the Indian Parliament, who would go on to fully endorse the TM movement. By 1964, he was on his fifth world tour and took time out of his busy schedule to meet with the Secretary General of the United Nations. He would also publish his first book, The Science of Being and Art of Living, which would go on to sell over 1 million copies. For 10 years, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi had built a very impressive life from teaching and charging money to learn transcendental meditation. The shit is about to get fucking nuts. Enter, as you predicted, the Beatles.
Yes!
Towards the end of their decade of insane fame, the Beatles had fallen madly in love with LSD and were in a bit of a tailspin with each other, which is honestly understandable when you go from unknowns to being able to claim you're bigger than Jesus and debatably not be wrong. In 1967, Mahesh became the spiritual advisor to the band, pushing him from young people love him fame to bugfuck holy shit fame. Now, Maharishi's time with the Beatles is a long story for such a short time spent together, and we'd probably take a whole podcast just to cover. So, for the sake of sticking to the topic at hand, we're going to be doing the cliff notes of the version.
Yes.
So in 1967, George Harrison and John Lennon were in the midst of their drug period of creativity. The two had been taking LSD as a way to expand their consciousness and aid in writing new songs. Harrison had become so enamored by the psychedelic that he had traveled to Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco, which was considered to be the epicenter of the drug world at the time. He had expected to find a whole world of enlightened thought and creatives, but instead found a mass of what he referred to as druggies and dropouts. Disaffected by it all and recognizing the influence the Beatles had on the youth, Harrison immediately quit LSD and returned to London to convince Lennon to do the same. Meanwhile, Harrison's wife Patty Boyd had begun visiting local TM meetings and began to believe that the Maharishi was the key to helping the band in their search for meaning. On August 24th, Harrison, Lennon, Paul McCartney, and their respective spouses traveled to the London Hilton to hear the Maharishi speak in person. The band was so impressed by him that they canceled a recording session and accompanied him to a 10-day training retreat in Wales the very next day.
But no Ringo.
Well, they were joined by Ringo Starr and his wife, along with Mick Jagger, Mary Ann Faithfull, and Cilla Black, turning the typical training retreat into a star-studded event.
Amazing.
The thing, though, is this would be the first time the Beatles would be traveling without their manager, Brian Epstein. And as fate would have it, Epstein died while they were at the retreat.
Holy cow.
The Beatles would leave early, but found a consoling lighthouse in the Maharishi during this time. 6 months later, the band chose to travel to Rishikesh, India, and to take part in the more extensive TM training at the Maharishi's personal ashram. They would once again be joined by a whole cadre of musical celebrities, including Donovan, the Beach Boys' Mike Love, and sisters Prudence and Mia Farrow.
Yes.
Now, there's quite a variety of stories as to what exactly happened during the Beatles' stay in India, but all the stories end the same way. Ringo left after 10 days. McCartney would leave later in March to attend to business, and Harrison and Lennon would both suddenly leave on the 12th of April. One version of the story is that Harrison and Lennon were kicked out for taking drugs at the ashram and allowing their friends who had joined them to encourage an atmosphere of debauchery. In another, the two had become disgusted when they started to notice that the Maharishi seemed more interested in cultivating his own fame through the Beatles, most notably via a picture of the class at the ashram where the Beatles were placed front and center, with the Maharishi smiling behind them, and then flanked by other lesser celebrities.
D-listers.
Yeah, like Donovan and Mick Jagger.
Prudence.
Yeah, Prudence, socialite Prudence Farrow. While the entire background was just filled with, normies.
Yeah.
The most commonly accepted reason for them leaving, though, is that the Maharishi had sexually assaulted actress Mia Farrow and begun a sexual tryst with another female student. Farrow, to this day, still claims that the Maharishi made multiple unwanted advances towards her. The Maharishi would deny anything untoward happened, and Harrison and McCartney would later call Mia Farrow a liar. But the fact that Harrison and Lennon left so abruptly, it gives the appearance that they viewed this man as capable of being a sexual predator. The Beatles, Lennon also wrote a song about this whole thing, talking about how the Maharishi was a con man and being completely disgusted by the whole thing. But like I said, eventually they would change their mind about the whole thing and say that Mia Farrow was making it all up.
Ugh. Believe women. Also, there is a fantastic episode about this on You Must Remember This. I think it's
Yes.
like she has a whole Mia Farrow series. Totally worth listening to.
In the end, Harrison and Lennon would leave with a deeply jaded view of the Maharishi, and even believed that he had placed a curse on them for abandoning his teachings. One of the stories goes while they were leaving, the truck broke down that they were in, and it would take like a day to be able to get it fixed, and they were convinced that like, oh, this is a curse or something that's happening to us. Because, you're young and famous, and it's easy to believe crazy shit.
And not the fact that it was probably just a cheap truck.
Yeah, exactly. Or, the LSD kicked in, or people driving were just like, I cannot stand these fucking people. Break the truck. Leave
God,
them in the woods.
Brian. Ugh.
So they would end up going on to denounce the Maharishi on The Tonight Show, and reports of the assault on Mia Farrow would severely damage Mahesh's credibility. And by that, I mean he was somewhat inconvenienced for a couple of years. Cancel culture,
Correct.
am I right? In the wake of Farrow's allegations, the Maharishi was announced as the closing act of a nationwide tour of the Beach Boys. It was dubbed the $1 Million Tour. And the show would include opening acts Buffalo Springfield, who did the song For What It's Worth, the Stop Children, What's That Sound? That's
Yeah.
the Strawberry Alarm Clock, which I think they did that. Peppermint, it was like, it's psychedelic rock. They had one hit, and then it was...
I listen to all this music and I'm trying to place that one and I can't. I know Buffalo Springfield. That one I know.
So after those two bands, then you would get the Beach Boys, and then the headliner. Hardcore fucking mantras and deep meditation, from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
Can you imagine? Like, imagine Coachella. In fact, you know what? I wish that would be brought back. Like, Bonnaroo would be slightly more tolerable.
All right, guys, we got a great show for you. We brought back Outkast. Lady Gaga's coming on after that. And then deep Catholic monk chants. Everyone needs to be stoic and stand still.
We are going to need you to shut the fuck up.
Beautiful.
Riot Fest 2020.
Oh, man, you're not wrong. So the tour would make about 28 stops. And the interesting point is, at this point, the Beach Boys were... I mean, I can't remember when Pet Sounds came out, and they kind of got that resurgence of... like, oh, this band actually might be worth taking seriously. But the Beach Boys had a bit of a reputation of being preppy squares. So for them to be moving into this, this probably would have been during the Pet Sounds time. So
right. Well, when did Sgt. Pepper's come out? Was that
66? I want to say.
Okay, because whenever it was like 3 months later, Pet Sounds came out.
My God.
It was just the saddest timing ever. It was just Brian Wilson crying.
Look, that's his typical MO. The tour would make 28 stops, starting in Washington, D.C., and ending in San Diego. The whole thing was a huge goddamn failure from the start. So it started in D.C., and they were going to be performing at the Washington Coliseum, the venue that would hold 8,000 people. Only 1,500 showed up.
Oh, no.
It took a day for the first show to be canceled.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The Singer Bowl in Flushing, New York, a place with a capacity of 16,000 people, had only sold 800 tickets.
Holy cow.
And the show was canceled 20 minutes before the start.
Holy cow.
Which, I mean, that would normally probably cause a riot of some sort, but a 800-person riot's just sad.
Especially in a space for 16,000.
Yeah, they really got to bunch together for that riot to work.
Man.
But this at least gave them more time to get things ready for their show at Iona College in New Rochelle, New York. Granted, ticket sales for the show were just as bad, and the Maharishi, for some reason, was late. The students, exhibiting the patience of anyone who had to wait a long time to see the headliner of a show, went about heckling the Maharishi during his whole set.
Yeah, that's where you want your mind just before transcendental meditation.
Yeah. Now, everyone get into a good state. Boo!
Boo!
Freebird! So what better way to close out a day that included a last-minute cancellation and watching a bunch of kids treat your guru like a dipshit than finish out your final show in the most calm, collected, and even-headed city America has to offer, Philadelphia.
This is a city where Eagles fans will fill socks with pennies and just whip them at the crowd.
They once threw.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah, there's stories of them throwing D-cell batteries at Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so you're trying to you're bringing a guru to Philadelphia, and this time though they had their best ticket sales yet, filling about a third of the 17,000 seat Spectrum Arena.
Yeah, I'm filling those socks with pennies.
Oh man, it's at the door. You're getting a sock. You're getting $1.50 in pennies, and you're going to town. Now, granted, the only way that happened was by reducing ticket sales, and a decent chunk of people left after the Beach Boys' set, marking the sickest burn in Philly's hostile career. The Maharishi was so uninteresting to them that instead of throwing batteries or booing for an hour, they decided it was a better use of their time to just go home.
Wow.
All in all, it was the default best experience of the day.
Yeah.
So the next day, things were looking genuinely up. The afternoon show was in Hartford, Connecticut, and they had nearly sold out the 3,000-seat Bushnell Memorial Hall. Following the first successful show of the tour, they headed down to Providence, Rhode Island, and minutes before the show, the Maharishi backed out of the whole tour.
Maharishi, come on.
You see, while the Beatles were at the ashram, he had become the focus of a documentary about his life and teachings. Mahesh stated that the tour was taking too much time away from that, and he was bowing out to focus 100% on the film. The Beach Boys refused to perform without him, and the following 23 shows were canceled. Of course, the public was curious why the shows had done so poorly, and the Beach Boys looked around and did the most obvious thing. They blamed it on the assassination of Martin Luther King.
Take some personal responsibility.
Look,
My God!
if I were to make a show that was literally Donna Lewis, Sixpence None the Richer. It was like a modern day equivalent of the Beach Boys, like a band, like Panic at the Disco. And then, I mean, I love Panic at the Disco, but that probably wouldn't even be fair. But then, like, closed it out with, I'm trying to, like, I can't even think of a good example, but you can't build a tour on that.
No, and it is so true. Like, I am also trying to think of an equivalent, and this is, I guess, Instagram influencers are kind of the 21st century Maharishi.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So if you brought, like, that, I don't know, the YouTuber with the makeup addiction.
Oh yeah, so like Jeffree Star. We're closing out with Jeffree Star, you poor fuckers.
It's going Beyonce at Coachella, and then the daughter of Felicity Huffman with the Instagram account.
Beautiful. I mean, people will absolutely stay for that. So the Beach Boys had claimed that Dr. Martin Luther King's murder had created an atmosphere of hostility and violence that didn't allow for the Maharishi's message to flourish.
No one who is truly listening to the words of Dr. Martin Luther King are also listening to fucking pet sounds. Like maybe Good Vibrations because it came on the radio while you were in the car and you weren't driving and couldn't change it.
It's about the most tone deaf thing I've ever I mean, I've read a lot of tone deaf shit. It's the most tone deaf thing I've read in the first 4 pages of this thing I've written down.
Right. It's the most tone deaf thing until we entered COVID-19 era.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, the funny thing is, despite Mahesh stepping away from the tour to focus more on the documentary never came out.
How about that?
I know, right?
How about that?
Look, I get it. We've both done sketch comedy and stand-up comedy or one or the other. And you show up and it's an entire room full of people who are just waiting for their time slot. No one wants to be there. Everyone wants to bail.
It's everyone who's remained undiagnosed with ADHD. Like we're all trying so hard that we don't know why this can only last for 2 years max.
Yeah. So following the tour, the Maharishi announced that he would stop all public speaking, and he moved his headquarters from India to the tiny town of Seelisberg, Switzerland. A year later, he would kick off a course called The Science of Creative Intelligence at Stanford that would later be offered at 25 other universities. By 1970, he was right back into attracting large crowds, eager to learn the secrets of transcendental meditation. He'd even finished the year by being awarded the City of Hope Foundation's Man of Hope Award. Well, allegedly. So one of the odd things about researching the Maharishi is that it is pretty hard to confirm a number of details about his life. For example, the City of Hope Foundation, a nonprofit clinical research center, doesn't have any online record of the Man of Hope Award ever existing, let alone the Maharishi being the recipient back in 1970.
It's an odd name for an award too. Like something sounds off about it.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a writer's room that got an assignment 10 minutes before closing.
Yes.
And in fact, the wiki footnote quotes a book written by TM followers, and all other online references seem to point at the same Wikipedia listing as evidence that he won this award. So not exactly a good primary source. And personally, as someone who has to do a lot of research for all of these sorts of things, I find that so fucking annoying when they're just like, here's a book, here's a page, no link to anything. And it's a book that you have to go to their personal website to go get. And I am not dropping $80 on a book that's out of print to verify this bullshit.
No, we don't have that grant money.
No, I can barely afford this Zoom account.
Yeah, come on.
Now, there's nothing out there to disprove this claim, but it is a damn good example that much of what is written about the Maharishi is glowing or rebukes those who spoke out against him, such as Mia Farrow. That being said, let's jump ahead to 1973, when the Maharishi made his first verifiable impression on American politics. In March of that year, the Maharishi spoke before the Illinois legislature about the benefits of transcendental meditation on young minds.
Is our children learning?
Yeah. Fuck off. His speech was so well received that it convinced lawmakers to pass a resolution recommending the teaching of transcendental meditation in all Illinois public schools.
What? Wait, what year was this?
1973.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. The Kentucky Law Journal would recommend the same for the state prison system, and General Franklin M. Davis would state that he used transcendental meditation to aid his students at the U.S. Army War College. Maharishi had found an inroad to success in America via education. The Maharishi had found an inroad to success in America via education, and in 1974 he started what would end up being his longest-running success in the States, the founding of Maharishi International University. Now, technically, the university had been founded the year prior in an apartment complex in Coletta, California, but it moved to Fairfield, Iowa in 1974, and that's where the school would end up making its permanent home. 700 students enrolled for the first year at Maharishi University. For the first 2 years, students were required to take interdisciplinary studies classes, which could last from a few weeks to a few months. You know how a semester goes. It's either 3 weeks or 8 months.
What? I feel like we are learning about like the origin story of Phoenix University. This is the language of Liberty University, of Phoenix University, like all of that like shady ass.
Yeah, really good schools. Got it. This guy taught a class at Stanford. Clearly, give him a college.
Oh boy.
So to give you some more faith in this, some of the classes would be nothing but videotaped lessons presented by grad students and TAs.
Isn't that masterclass?
Oh my God, yes it is! It's essentially masterclass.
Like, just give me a PDF and Usher telling me how to perform. I'm good. Set up my printer, print out my certificate. Good to go.
So for some reason, Maharishi International University would believe that this was enough to claim in their course pamphlets that classes were taught by well-known and respected people, such as Nobel Prize winner Melvin Calvin, who were never once present for their classes, but were there for videotapes.
Again, yeah, this is the new norm. They were ahead of the game.
Upon finding out, Calvin stated that the use of his name in that fashion was perilously close to false advertising.
That's why you smart, sir.
Yeah, I would sue you, but I have to win another Nobel Prize. MIU did have its appeal, though. There were no requirements to entry, and all transfer students were accepted, no matter what. And while these big-name professors might not have been there, but students were still very much learning from them. By 1979, the school had attained accreditation for its undergrad programs, and by 1980 had received the same for their doctorate school. In 1981, they would build what has become the physical symbol of the university, two 20,000 square foot buildings called the Golden Domes, one for men and one for women,
No.
to avoid distraction by the presence of the opposite sex.
No.
They have been described as two gold boobs. It kind of just needs to be seen. So hit pause, look up the golden domes. By all rights, this would have been an amazing high water mark for the Maharishi to retire at. He had gained a level of respectability for his teachings that reached the ear of multiple governments and continued to build on his celebrity following, adding director David Lynch to his most devout of famous followers. But in the 1980s, cracks in the supposedly pristine movement had begun to show. The 1980s was around the first time that the transcendental meditation movement began to be branded as a cult. The fixation of this...
When you switch from LSD to cocaine.
Yeah.
Wait
Don't
a
ever mix the
second.
two. Or do ever. This was around the idea that the fixation of yogic flying became a part of transcendental meditation. The theory behind this is that when one becomes enlightened enough, they will be able to levitate or fly in the air. In practice, this was performed as more of a cross-legged hopping motion. It looks like a very hard workout, and it's genuinely impressive to see people do it, but it was an evolution of hopping turning into flight that began to make folks look at transcendental meditation in a different light.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the hopping now. It's like, and I'm so tired. I'm exhausted just thinking of it.
If it helps, they do it on gigantic like gym mats, so it's not like they're slamming their legs onto hardwood floors.
Oh, that's great.
It still sucks.
Yeah.
Other claims were that at the highest level, you could become invisible, walk through walls, become omnipotent, and ultimately become immortal and invincible. Which, if you're immortal but not invincible, that's a real shit combo. Also, there is the espousing of the Maharishi effect. Mahesh had started speaking of this in the 1960s, but by the mid-70s had become more of a central tenet of the ultimate power of TM. Mahesh stated that if 1% of the people in a given area were all meditating at the same time, they could create a provably positive charge in the area, such as an increase in population health or decrease in overall rates of crime. Scientific papers are even published proving the effect to be real. Granted, the people writing those papers were often TM followers, but who can argue hard science? MIU professor Dr. Robert Rabinoff had even stated in 1978 that the TM movement had made the majority of the Fairfield Police Department part-time employees due to the low rate of crime, had made unemployment non-existent, had risen the yield of crops, and had made the state of Iowa the state with the lowest rate of car accidents.
Okay, that last one just sounds straight up like bullshit. But also, like, it's when we have a really shitty spring in Chicago and then Rahm Emanuel, like, this definitely happened. Rahm Emanuel was like, look, crime is down. It's like, no, motherfucker, it snowed in April. Like, no one was going outside.
Yeah.
I feel it's like that. Yeah, if you have 1% of a population just out of commish completely, guess what?
Yeah, it's going down.
Shit's going down.
It's around this time that the TM movement caught the eye of the patron saint of bullshit, James Randi. Now,
James Randi?
Yeah.
Who is James Randi?
So James Randi, during his youth, was a magician known as the Amazing Randi. But after his magic career, he started to take it upon himself to prove that a lot of religious paranormal events are complete bullshit. He ruined Uri Geller's career with the help of Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson was a huge fan of James Randi. And for one episode, Carson was going to have Uri Geller on. And for those of you who don't know, Uri Geller was very famous for being able to bend spoons with his mind.
Yeah.
And Carson called James Randi and said, hey, I am having Uri Geller on. How do I prove that he's bullshit? And James Randi just said, just put out a bunch of stuff that he normally uses for his tricks. Don't let him bring any of his own stuff. Just set it out there. Don't tell him you're going to do it. And then say, hey, you do this on every single show. Could you do it on any of these objects now? And suddenly Uri Geller could not summon the will to do any of his tricks. But so he did that for a while, but then he started moving into evangelical movements and discovered a lot of faith. This one particular faith healer had an earpiece and was getting cues from his wife, telling him which people in the audience had certain afflictions. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's like a fragment of James Randi's amazing career post-magic.
Well done, Randy.
Yeah, he's a great dude. And and he also has a $1 million prize that if you can prove any of the bullshit you claim you can do, you get it. And no one has been able to claim it. So in 1982, he went to Fairfield, Iowa, and he spoke to the chief of police, the Iowa Department of Agriculture, and the State Department of Motor Vehicles. Randy quickly found that the Fairfield Police Department was in the process of hiring more officers, that crop yields showed no discernible increase, there was no difference in statewide trends of unemployment, and no proof that there were now fewer car accidents statewide after the creation of MIU.
Yes, thank you, Randy.
So another kind of culty thing that the Maharishi would claim that he owned nothing and maintained a life of poverty. But his organization was doing so well financially that they had begun buying resorts, hotels, and massive estates. This included the former Rothschild mansion, Mentmore Towers, a humble home of 36 rooms that became the headquarters of the Maharishi Foundation's educational charity.
I mean, you had me at Rothschild, like we already know.
In an expose done by 60 Minutes Australia, a former TM follower who himself had spent $250,000 on classes to attain nirvana,
Jesus,
claimed the Maharishi to be worth $3.5 billion in cash, property, and assets.
Wow.
Around this time, the Indian tax authorities happened to check in on Mahesh's funds, and in 1988 found that he had hidden at least $60,000 in taxable assets and evidence that the foundation had falsified multiple expenses.
Oh no.
The Maharishi was quick to call the tax charges bullshit and based entirely on corruption against him.
And not his own corruption.
Exactly. Look at my house. Clearly, I'm poor. To say the least, the 80s weren't exactly stress-free for the Maharishi and the TM movement. But while word of Mahesh's true volume of wealth and culty activity were becoming more well known, he was about to start the newest phase of his world plan for peace. After moving his headquarters from Switzerland to the equally small town of Lahdrop in the Netherlands, Mahesh became much more reclusive. Instead of speaking directly to people, he shifted to addressing his followers by video and the internet, specifically using a satellite TV channel called VetaVision. The channel was broadcast in 144 countries and in 22 languages, and still exists today as a YouTube channel.
Yes!
Its website is still around today, and the nicest way I can describe it is it looks like a deep web that is both haunted and a scam.
Oh, I feel like that's the best you could ever hope for with a thing called Vedic Vision. It's like, yeah, that's what I want. I definitely want the haunted part. And the scam, I'm going in with open eyes, you know? I chose to click on this link, and now my computer won't open without, several pop-up videos. But I'm taking personal responsibility for this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been warned repeatedly by Norton. I'm ignoring that advice.
Yeah, you didn't know McAfee could scream, but it can scream.
Oh my God. This desktop will be a paperweight in 3 weeks. Now, no one is 100% sure, but it seems like Mahesh would make his last ever public appearance ever in 1991 in the Netherlands. He also began to become a lot more bitter than you would expect from someone who is so enlightened. In 1991, he described the city of Washington, D.C. as a pool of mud. Turns out D.C. had the second largest TM following in the country, and the Maharishi effect was no use in lowering the city's crime rate, despite the fact that they would claim repeatedly that they had lowered the crime rate in DC. Mahesh ordered his followers to leave the city and no longer waste their metaphysical labor. He would follow this up by pulling the ultimate of cult moves, hiding a sudden, severe illness from his followers. Now, this is all according to his most trusted disciple at the time, a fellow by the name of Deepak Chopra.
Amazing. Amazing.
But apparently Mahesh's pancreas and kidney failed, and it took over a year before the Maharishi could be well enough to be considered not on the verge of death. As a thanks for helping him in his most dire time of need, Mahesh accused Deepak of trying to steal the title of guru and forbade him from traveling with him. Chopra would leave the movement the next year and move on to the warm embrace of Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, Deepak Chopra knew what was coming around the horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Also, concerning the Maharishi, it's like, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're wrong.
Exactly. But you know what? He didn't need Deepak. He was about to kickstart the newest phase of his movement, a permanent shift into politics. In 1992, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi would found the Natural Law Party and base its platform entirely on his own teachings from the Transcendental Meditation movement. The belief was that the law of nature, as understood through the lens of transcendental meditation, was the only thing that could truly solve all political problems throughout the world. So what do you think so far, Una? Are you a member? Are you gonna
Oh my
hop over?
God. Oh my God. I just keep thinking of like, these are people who take the entire budget for the DC police and just put it towards a couple people
Mm-hmm.
moving papers around and like thinking hard. I'm using air quotes right now about lowering criminal behavior in the city. Meanwhile, like, it's God, I can't with these people. I just can't.
I think that's a wonderful summary. Well, y'all, hope you join us next week as we continue to discuss what happens when a cult starts a political party. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.